Hey, it's Doodlebud here. Today we got a pen we might be breaking international trade rules. It's only supposed to be for sale in India or Nepal, and I'm here up in Canada. So let's check out what we got. Roger, Roger. What's our Vector Victor? Today we got the Parker Vector Standard Edition for me. This was the pen that started it. I first got one in high school. Had that in the mid-late 90s, so that gives you an idea how old I am. But someone stole it, and I know who it is. But anyways, that's long gone. This pen got back onto my radar when I watched Dr. John Campbell do his work explaining what's going on, and noticed on his shots when he's going through papers and making notes and whatnot and corrections, he's using a red Parker Vector. So I thought, why not? But you can't just walk into a store and pick one up right now, at least up here in North America, or at least in Canada anyways. They don't have them anymore. They don't make them, so you have to go elsewhere. And elsewhere was eBay, and had to come in from India. So very interesting. I'm going to find out more about this, revisit this pen, see if it's as good as I remember. A few interesting things. So it's now brought in by the Luxor brand, made, of course, in the hosiery complex. So maybe you get your nylons and other fancies along with a fountain pen. Comes with a converter and an ink cartridge is already inside the pen. Maximum price 350 rupees, which I think I paid about $9 or $10 US. So that's about $3 or $4 Canadian. So you dirty dogs. But I did get free shipping, so not too bad. So if anyone wants to do their dissertation in the comments of the evolution of the Parker brand in India and Luxor, please fill us in if that's your thing and you can contribute in that way. So anyways, there we go. Basic, that's kind of boring stuff, but interesting nonetheless. And into the pen. So I've been using it just a little bit, doing a few notes here and there. And I got to tell you, I'm kind of weirded out by this thing. I kind of associate Parker as a good brand and a good pen. But this thing I'm kind of weirded out with because there's just a lot of little quirks about this thing. And for this price point, for the real price point in India or whatever you're getting it for here in North America, I think you could do a lot better. But let's go through it. It writes, it puts ink on a page. But I thought this pen was better as far as quality. So let's roll through it, show you a few things I come up with, and take it from there. Not a whole lot of amazing design features to talk about other than what you see here. Plastic tube, stainless steel body. We got a little collar here on the end of the section. That is what engages inside of the cap here to give you a little snappy snap action. Very basic looking Parker nib, nothing too special. If we zoom in there, give you a little bit. And even with my naked eye, there's a little unevenness on that ball there. So nothing too crazy. This is a fine. They stamp that into the bottom of the feed. I'll take it apart so you can have a look at it really quick. Yeah, nothing special, nothing too fancy, plain Jane. But there is a few little things with the pen I find kind of weird. So let's go through those right now. First up is just the overall feel. A very quantifiable measure, how it feels. But it doesn't feel that great. It feels kind of cheap, super light. Well, you might like a light pen, but there's just he's got a little bit of cheapness kind of built into it. Lots of these sharp edges on here. Like all these edges on this plastic are sharp. So I'm kind of weirded out by that. And then also, too, I'm going to run through this here. If you can see the stamping. So actually, well, let's just first get into this. I'm pretty sure, not 100%, but that this the main bodies, okay, the plastic bits are injection molded. And there's a few little giveaways on this one where I think so. If we go at the top of the cap, you can see that too. And you can't, maybe from the angle, you can see it's raised. So that's going to be from the injection mold, and all these, there's a couple of flat spots on there too. So that's a little bit trickier to do afterwards. So I think this is injection molded. And then when I looked in closer, I can't pick this up on the camera, but you can see the saw marks. So the tube is injection molded and they just buck off the end. You can see that the teeth from the saw blade, or whatever the cutter they're using, I should say, to pop that off. You can see it in the plastic. It's quite uniform. And then the Parker label. So it says Parker here at the bottom of the cap, as you can see, and it's got I-IN. I would assume that means India in the back. And I think this is hot rolled into it. So the clip wouldn't be on at that point, and it just goes through a hot roll. It's got the stamp to go in there. And with the quality of the stamping, it's very shallow here. Like it's barely in there. But then by the time you get to the back, you can see how much deeper it is. And I don't know if you're picking that up, but see at the very tippy top there, the E, the bottom of the R, those look like little stress cracks. Like maybe there was too much pressure when it was roll stamped. So that seems off. It's very strange. I don't know why that wasn't put into the mold and done that way. But and same with the eye. Things seem off a little bit. So I'm not 100% sure, but just from what the stamping looks like, it looks like that's hot rolled in there. And then also too, just these edges. So what happens is you'll have a sharp edge. You can see a profile from some type of countersink they have on there, but this flares out a bit. Again, to show these features on the camera is quite hard. I don't know, get that out of the way for the background. Can we see it? Oh, it's very tough. But anyways, this comes out just a touch. And I'm curious if that's from the tool pressure being a little bit too excessive when they deburr it, and it flares it just a tad. I could be wrong. Wouldn't be surprised if I am, but that's what I'm thinking there. But those edges just shouldn't be there. And then same on this body here as well. It shouldn't be there. It's a small step down. It's not huge. It's livable. But if it had a nice smooth edge on there, a nice radius, it would be okay, I think. But it is a nasty, sharp little edge on the pen. That's not overly enjoyable. So I am weirded out by the build quality. So anyone watching, if you can share with us in the comments your experience with these, or if you have more knowledge about these than I do. I don't have much on these ones. What is up with the Parker Vector? My memory, my high school memory of this, mine was stainless, so maybe that's the difference. It felt like a really quality pen. I would have more substance because it was metal, but just I would think I would notice that at that time. I was picky back then, and I'm extra picky now. So anyways, let us know on that. It posts, it fits in the hand. It's a respectable length. Once it's posted, it's quite, a little on the short side unposted. So yada, yada, standard stuff. But not overly impressed with the Parker Vector here. So anyways, let's, I'll do the writing sample first. Just show you that. You can already see one here, but, Parker Vector. It's okay. It's a bit dry. I checked the nib gap on there, and I thought it'd be drier than this, so it's not too bad. No flex on this whatsoever. This is, a little, but whatever. This is a fairly hard nib. This would be good for, I think, some cheaper paper notes. Obviously, if you're budget conscious, you got to find good pens around that price point. But I think around the price point, you could probably do better than this thing. Like a Jinhao 51A, to me, is a far superior pen than this one here. But let me just do a quick little writing sample, and then we'll move on. So it finally came to an end. The fox got caught and taken out. What a sad day. And a bit of a sad day for this pen. The writing experience is okay. It's nothing amazing. It puts ink on the page. It's not terribly feedbacky. It's sort of on par as what I would expect for a pen in this price range. Maybe not the 10 or 12 with exchange dollar. I paid more around the $3 or $4. It would be on par for that. But even then, there's still some, which is amazing. When you're at that price point, you can still do better. But yeah, just the gap on here with the seams on the cap and the barrel. Also the alignment, it's off as well. It's, be under flush on one side and over flush on the other. So just some of those things are concentric. They're not quite lining up. Build quality, like I said, it's pretty so-so. It does come with a cartridge, which I've been using. I assume it's a Parker ink. This looks like this is rolled into that as well. So, at this price point, you got to do the very low-cost manufacturing, on high speed to rip these through. So I'm always not expecting a ton, but I am surprised you can do, I feel, much better than this pen. It does come with a little cartridge, the converter, I should say. And also, this whole pen, there was oil all over everything. This guy was all greasy. That was greasy. Everything just had a oil coating on there too. I know that happens with some pens sometimes. This one had just an excessive amount, especially this one here. It does have the ball in there to break the tension. Just one of those quick, super slidey ones. So, yeah, not overly impressed with where we're at with the Parker Vector. I don't know. Has it always been like this? Or has it gone downhill? I don't know. Please let us know. So I popped out the cartridge and went to rinse this, and this definitely has Parker washable blue. Just took the bulb syringe and just like half a squeeze worth, and it was already cleaned out. That is one thing. I know it's maybe not the sexiest color out there, but man, is that stuff ever easy to wash out and won't do damage to your pens. It is just great stuff. So anyways, you just put your thumb in there, slide this out, don't want to bust a nail. And here we are with a little, again, injection molded feed. It seems not too bad. It looks fairly standard to a lot of the other stuff you see out there. That channel seems maybe a little bit deeper than some of the other ones, but sort of your standard deal. It looks like a fin there is a little off. The nib, again, nothing super fancy in there whatsoever. Very, designed for the low cost manufacturing, which you got to do. You got to meet a price point. Let's see. Yeah, okay, it does stop. I thought maybe these tabs would line into the feed. That would be sort of nice. That's what Pilot does. They're so good at that, with just snapping your nib right into the feed, and it only goes in one spot. But I looked at this under the loop really quick, and yeah, there's a little extra bit hanging off the end there of the nib. We're not gonna be able to pick that up, but it's off a little bit there too, and the gap is. It's pretty tight, but enough to give some flow, and I don't expect this pen to be a gusher, so I guess the flow is not too bad. But yeah, very basic little parts, nothing too real special to get into very much, but it goes together, puts ink on the page. But I noticed this as well when I took the cartridge off. I didn't look originally, but yeah, just even that, there's just residue from the injection molding process that's a little bit dirty. Same with the back of the cartridge here. I don't know. I just would expect a little bit nicer looking cartridge. Let me grab a couple other ones. I don't have many, but I'll show you the difference. Got a Platinum, a Pilot, a Kaweco, and this Parker cartridge here. So you can just see the difference, right? Like just those are all nice and smooth. No crusties, right? This has got that right at the front there. And that wasn't done when I put it into the pen, how it grabs. It's an internal friction fit, not external. So that wasn't done from putting it into the pen. And then just even on the back. And again, not that this matters, but it's the details, right? So you can see right away this, who's got the gnarly bit. This, the cartridge right here that came with the pen. One quick little detail. I thought maybe I'll just mention it really quick. You can see right there, those dots. So that is, there's 3 of them around the circumference here. 1, 2, and 3, and what that does, that's your 3 points of contact when this slips inside the section and touches on that tube on the inside. So that's smart. That's what you want. You have 3-point contact. Feed's not overly exciting. I can see there it is there. If you, I don't know that we can pick that up. But anyways, there's a number 3 that's right there, and that's going to tell us where it was on the back. Maybe there's 10 or so in the mold when they get injected. That's going to let you know which one. And also, yeah, you can see just a little bit of, from the end of that molding that wasn't cleaned up quite as tidy. So anyways, nothing too crazy, but thought I would point those out. So I'll put this back together as I wrap things up here. Oop, lost the nib. But really interesting. I just have recollections of this being a little bit of a nicer pen. So I don't know if you can fill us in, if anyone knows just sort of the history of what's going on. Was the pen better back in the day, or has it always been like this and just memory isn't serving me right, or just what? So again, it's not that it's a total fail, but it does the main thing. It puts ink on the page. I just feel for this price point, there are a lot of pens, and this is more on the bottom of that heap than near the mid or top. So anyway, that's my thoughts. If you have these and you just adore these, and I'm kind of trash talking your favorite pen in the world, all I can say is, look, there's things I like and there's things you like. We're not always going to agree. These are my thoughts on it. So you don't have to care about what I have to say. Anyways, that's it. Well, not going to do much with that. Catch you next time.